What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Bourbon and Bullshit, the podcast where everyone's welcome to the table to share a good conversation, a great drink, and even better company, and a little bit of BS. So grab a seat, pour up something neat, and welcome to the show. All right. So welcome back to the show, everyone. I am once again joined with two of my favorite people one's high up there and the other's from Georgia. First and foremost, we're met with welcoming our brother from a much more light-skinned mother, Josh. Welcome back to the show.
Like a fucking sheet of notebook paper?
Yeah. Dorothy Mantooth is a saint.
Dorothy
Mantooth is a
Dorothy Mid. We are
This dude hit
fucking.
you with an Anchorman quote.
I understand.
Top rope.
Hey, this is Josh's time. You fucking
I'm so
wait.
sorry.
Josh.
You shut your mouth.
Joshua Mantooth. Welcome to the show. How are you today?
Glad to be here.
How are you
Glad to
feeling
be here.
today?
Doing great.
So I know that we obviously just spoke like 10 seconds ago, however long the intro was. But every fucking time you hear that intro, do you not want to fucking just rock out?
Dude, I was sitting in my chair just
I'm
jamming.
vibing.
I was just jamming.
Every fucking time.
I'm white. I don't jam.
I know.
I was jamming.
It was one of those like two steps. Yeah.
I was not snapping, though. There was no snapping.
No, because we were busy doing an intro.
That's an advanced step. You'll get there.
Yeah.
But Josh, I'm so happy to have you back here because we are going to talk about some of the most fun stuff about retail and life after it. And this is when we get to talk about the dirty little secrets and what's gone on in our lives. And I think that people are going to be really surprised about the reality of it. But before we have so much fun, we have to bring it down a little bit. And we're going to talk about our sixth place favorite guest of all time.
Number 6, baby.
David.
Yeah.
The artist formerly known as Gatta, the repeat offender, the Southern Belle, the Georgia boy, the Mason Dixon.
Yeah.
A lot emphasis on the Dicks.
You did forget.
Got that Georgia peach.
Back-to-back national champion.
But I really want to emphasize on the Dicks. David, how are you today, buddy?
I'm doing excellent. Even though I'm sitting next to you both, I'm feeling pretty good.
Feelings mutual.
Fair enough.
Yeah, don't let him fool you. He drove an hour to be here. Listen, so I want to go ahead and start
tops.
because we did start last week's episode with the drink of the day, but it was for Josh Mantooth. We wanted to make sure that he had his Florida Gator drink, which actually turned out pretty okay. So today we are going to have this drink.
The superior drink.
Shut the fuck up. So this is brought to you by spiritofthesec.com from Onward Reserve. Sorry, excuse me. SEC. So shut the fuck up, boys.
That's not what that spells.
Shut the fuck up.
Did you go to kindergarten? Did you learn your letters?
Listen, so the drinks there are featuring a lot of the colleges and schools in the SEC, and this one is the University of Georgia, the Clayton Classic. Classic Clayton Street in Athens has seen it all. It's where dogs gather to stroll, grunch or fist bump at a national title. This fall cocktail pays homage to a place and culture that is one of a kind, obnoxious, annoying, and loud for no good reason, a home of Onward Reserve's first store. So this is directly one of the partner distilleries that have made this cocktail. Yeah. So this one is a really fun one. It is a bit of a taking a sour, so it's 1.5 ounces of bourbon, a 0.5 ounce of a ginger simple syrup that we made here in-house. By in-house, I mean in my kitchen, and 0.5 ounce of lime juice. You top it with a little candied ginger that the boys keep having struggles with.
That candied ginger is great.
Did you eat it yet?
Yeah.
I just nibble on it.
Yeah, the candy ginger stops. Yeah, but we had this drink a little bit earlier. They ruined it for us. But so far, Josh, what do you think of your rival's drink?
Strangely, I'm a big fan. I like this
flavor-wise.
I like sours.
Yeah.
I've been a big ginger guy. But no, I mean, I hate to say it, but I probably like it better than the orange and blue. It's good.
Yeah,
it's good.
I think the flavor itself, like eliminating all my bias out of it, the flavor, this is more in my wheelhouse of things that I order.
There's something to be said about sours because those contrast and flavor profiles really bring out, accentuate some of those spirits. Where the other one with the orange and blue old fashioned was spirit forward with too sweet. I think I should dial it back on the blueberry simple.
But it wasn't blueberry
No,
overpowering.
get the blueberry to hit more in the simple was fine.
The simple's fine.
It's finally a way to get the blueberries to really to the front of the flavor.
Yeah, so we'll
Really
we'll experiment and fuck around with that a little bit and see if I can find a little happy medium. It's my first time making it.
Just bullshit around with it.
Yeah, that's what we're here for. So all the bullshitters that are listening, welcome in. That actually approved that message. There should be a chime for that, but we'll find that soundbite later. Here today, we've already kind of gone through this is bullshit, and we kind of gone through crazy stories and things like that, but things that are going on because this is part 2 and we've been a little saucy. I really want to hit on something, guys. I really want to talk about the best time of the year for people who don't fucking work retail. It is the holiday season's coming up.
Love it.
And as people who have escaped it, and we have made it out. This is like our fucking survivor's letter. This is our memoirs to fucking people on the inside.
Manifesto.
Yeah, manifesto. Motherfuckers who made it. Now, I want to hear, this is just off the rip. This is not one that I wrote down, not what I sent you. What is your worst, let's kind of go around the table. Josh, how many years were you in retail?
18.
David, how many years?
12.
I spent 23 years in retail.
Wow, fucking slowpoke.
Fuck yeah, it took my time. Listen, it's hard to move on when you're successful. Listen, I want to try to get. I didn't get. I'm not going to go there. But one of us was optional.
It took me less time to get. It took me less time to get there than it did you.
Maybe I didn't care enough. Listen, what I'm getting at is. I want to ask, these years and years of experience, no shots fired. What was your fucking worst Christmas experience in retail? Like what fucking, if you can't think of it right now, I will tell you mine.
Kick us off.
Kick us off.
Leave the bases.
So for anyone who's ever wondered why our prices rise, it's because motherfuckers steal.
Yeah.
Now, and if you go into a store, you'll get the Christmas wrap. They're in boxes. You have all this going. Like, it's this big ass red box. My team is pumping. They're going. Everyone bought each other like lunches. Everything's going well. This has been a great fucking Christmas Eve. This is going fucking great. I was going. And we hear a bunch of beeping. And when we go up front, there's like a fucking, like damn near flash mob of 3 or 4 motherfuckers running out with Christmas wrap boxes full of merchandise. Oh. They dumped the Christmas wrap into the aisle.
I was like, is there
and just
a weird Christmas wrap market I don't know about?
Assholes.
No, they fucking dumped the wrap onto the floor in the Christmas aisle. So now it's a tripping hazard for everyone. Filled the boxes up with shit and ran out. And so that happens. That's not the crazy part. That's not the fucking, oh my God. My customers were pissed to the point that 3 people ran out and basically started fighting the shoplifters.
Well-organized militia, baby. Get that ass.
They dropped their shit in line. It's like, hey, these people are working hard. And I'm like, I can't do shit.
Was this fairly recent? Because I know
it wasn't
used to be like the Wild West.
It was during still Wild West-ish, but I was still high up enough that I should have wanted to stop it. Yeah. And I was like, no, I just let it fucking go. And I had this dude, fucking big Jack Black, like bald-headed dude. He's like, get the fuck back in here. They fucking work hard here. And I'm like, I'm afraid of this guy. And he's not even yelling at me. And
I'm afraid of your description.
And he just, like, he's ripping out the box. He's grabbing the cars. This is getting hectic in front of my store. I was like, yo, relax. And it got to the point where the shoplifters just dropped their shit and dipped. Because now all my customers went fucking like pitchfork and torches. Like, you will not fucking steal from here. This is our family. I'm like, this is insane. And the cop showed up. He's like, do you still need the police? I was like, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't know what's happening anymore.
I think you could go. I'm about to hire 2 of these motherfuckers.
Hometown militia's golden.
About to go open a rec real quick.
And I was like, hey man, do you need a job? I will overpay you. Like, I will do that right
Use the
fuck
range,
now.
baby.
And yeah, always. There's ways around it.
Cuts here.
Don't let them lie to you. But that was one of my crazy stories because it went through a roller coaster of emotions. You're angry, fucking, what the fuck? I can't believe they're stealing. And it also brought you back to, there are people that are decent human beings who care about what the fuck you're doing and appreciate you. You hear a lot about the bad customers. You hear about the bunch of fucking shoplifters. You hear about that shitty shit. And these 3 people threw themselves out of line And they said, I know you can't do shit, but I don't work here. And I'm like, say less. I ain't calling shit on you. You're about to get employee discounts.
Well,
That's where the clip came from.
Yeah.
You're not that guy, pal.
You're not that guy, pal.
Well, I think
You're not that guy, pal.
I think it's also worth calling out.
Same energy.
Yeah, same energy.
Way more people are decent people than there are pieces of shit. Like I think in today's society, especially when we hide behind our keyboards and we type our
those
opinions,
pieces of shit are loud.
the pieces of shit are absolute fucking pieces of shit.
It's the Chihuahua versus the Pit Bull.
Absolutely. There's the vocal minority versus the silent majority, right? Most people. So even during
I like this
retail
context better
holidays-
than the original. Yeah.
Yeah.
fair enough. But I mean,
You a Stroud boy?
Jesus, we are
Wow.
fucking 12 minutes in. There's a
bro,
problem.
you're gonna talk that shit, coming up with fucking pasty arms like that. Talking about
Hey, focus. Back
All
at
right.
it.
Anyways, when you look at the majority of people, even through the lens of retail, 99.9% of the customers that you see through the holiday season, all cool, all chill, all absolutely just in there to grab their shit and dip. It's that 1% that fucking fucks everything.
You know
up.
how many cookies I've gotten baked by
So
somebody?
many.
I get sweets, treats, fucking people drop me off gift cards. I got
don't
so many
trust a
gifts from
single
customers.
one.
I ain't eating any of them because I'm
Yeah.
way too dark to
I'll
trust
give
that
my
shit.
staff.
Potatoes, yam.
Hams,
Greens, potatoes.
tomatoes, hams, hams.
Oh, my God.
That lady slaps.
I love that. lady. I actually made a reel with that. Josh, now that I give you some time, you any thoughts?
You said craziest Christmas story.
Crazy holiday stories. It could be Thanksgiving.
Right? Christmas wins. I mean,
Okay,
hands
yeah.
down.
Fair.
Yeah, kind of to the same context with the theft. I was blessed to be in a store that had a liquor store attached to it. And
Was that sarcasm?
Yes, very, very hard sarcasm. And I was close to a college in this particular store. And this morning is maybe 10 a.m. Christmas morning, like early, right? 10 a.m. Get paged over to the liquor store. Go to the liquor store. Somebody's having a meltdown,
It was open on Christmas?
Oh, yeah.
The liquor store is open on the 25th.
dude.
If you need it
And,
most.
and
if I-
we
That's wild.
We put up numbies.
I would have never guessed.
Numbies, bro. Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, Christmas,
Thanksgiving
New
you're
Year's.
see because it's very dinner centric, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Christmas?
Oh yeah.
Christmas
I
is.
thought-
I just spent the night with my in-laws and people and family and all that shit. I need a drink.
You know what?
Yeah.
I see it.
Yeah.
I see it. Thank you for that. That actually puts it all into a very
There you go.
good scope.
Glad you're in the same boat now. But yeah,
once.
so I'll get called over because we had the ID thing, and you had to ID everybody, and this guy wasn't having any part of it, and losing his mind. Losing his mind. I had to actually call the cops to get this guy out of the store because he was just like, nope, I'm not showing you my ID. Call the cops. Blah, blah, blah.
Why don't you just
All
beat his
that
ass?
stuff. Well,
Cared about your job at the time?
at the time I did. At the time I did. But, I mean, that was probably the craziest one.
How did that get resolved? Cop showed up, escort him off.
He left before the cops showed up. They typical. They
Fucking
it's all
pussy.
bark no bite. They,
Yeah.
they back down.
Chihuahuas, not pit bulls.
Yeah, they'll chirp up until 1 minute before the cops get there, then they bolt.
Not
and then
worth
it's-
it.
Yeah,
Not
then,
even
then the
fucking worth
cops
the time.
cops show up and they're like, "What's the problem?" I'm like, "Hey, he fucking left. Like, what do you want from me?"
I still find it crazy that these people get so angry about that shit. It's
Yeah.
not my rules. It's the fucking, I gotta do it.
Yes, I think it's because a lot of the times I think that they abuse the customer service aspect of retail, and they think that the more they escalate.
One person said the
more it's
customer's always right, and now that's fucking gospel to them.
Well, that's ironic because they conveniently leave off. They take out the context of that saying. Right, the customer's always right is a saying. What it translates to is that the market will tell you what the customer wants. The customer's always right means they want Advil on the shelf, not that it's supposed to be $1.99 because somebody hung a tag in the wrong place. That's the context there. The customer's always right. The customer's going to tell you what they want.
Yeah.
Capitalism determines the fucking price.
It's just, I hate when those phrases get taken out of context. The same as jack of all trades, but the master of none. But
Leave
it
on
says
the back half
yeah, it was like
every time.
Yeah, it's always the back half. It's like, well, it's better to be the master of many, but instead of the master of one, or like the good. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
I'll look it up later, but because I'm really hyped about something I found online.
I got beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, ribs, beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, chicken, turkeys, I got beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, I
played it twice. All right, enough. Listen,
Song rips.
Most of that food is shit,
every
though.
fucking time this lady fucking goes up there, I want to go to her house. I don't know who this lady is. If she tells me bring a bottle of Dawn, I'm bringing it. I
Done.
just want to show her up.
Anytime you hear a woman with that voice,
I got greens.
You best believe she can fucking cook.
Yeah.
Okay? Whatever it is, she's cooking it and it's going to be good.
Every fucking...
Whatever that tone is, whatever that is.
It's the it factor, man.
It can just cook.
It's just the it factor.
It can fucking slam.
We talked about like basically aggression is indication of like how good of a cook, or sadness is how good of a cook you could be. At Waffle House, we talked about I want to be in the restaurant where the motherfucker has clinical depression.
His life better fucking suck.
His life better suck. That's the sound bite.
I want the Waffle House 3 a.m. cook.
Yeah.
If his wife ain't left him last
want
week,
that guy.
don't
I
fuck him.
want the guy who's worked a triple because both of his kids need braces and his wife ain't doing shit. Like I want that guy to cook my shit because I'm gonna eat his sorrow and it's gonna be great. That omelet's gonna be the best omelet I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
And I want to help him.
I'll buy the Marlboro Reds for you.
Yeah,
dude.
if he needs to GoFundMe for the Marlboro Reds, as long as he keeps cooking there, that's fine. I don't want him to be happy enough where the food sucks. I want him to be happy enough so he keeps showing up.
Just on the line.
God, that's
I'll
so
buy you
bad.
cigarettes. I won't take you to church.
That's so terrible. That's awful. But we did talk about, kind of a side note, this was just an off the rip question about the best or worst Christmas you had. I want to talk about the show. We've talked about it. This is bullshit. So this show came to our attention. Thank you, Johnny, and thank you, Silvana. This show called Customer Wars on Hulu.
Yeah.
Where I think that the world is surprised about these customer interactions. Now, as a former retail employee, Josh, I'm going to start with you because you are the guest of honor. Gad has been here multiple times.
That's right.
Whatever, pal. My seat's warm from my last visit here.
You guys had opposite seats. Tell me what you thought about the Customer Wars show.
So, yes, it's wild. I think after 18 years in retail, I've become desensitized.
100%.
And none of it shocks me. None of it. Like, absolutely none of it was shocking to me.
So for anyone who hasn't seen the show Customer Wars, this is literally one of those like World Star, but for retail and like customer service concerns.
It's like those Karen videos on like TikTok, YouTube, whatever.
Right.
Like none of them are shocking.
Yeah.
So
I've lived that.
Yeah. So this show, for context, it spotlights the conflicts that arise when disgruntled and irrational customers come face to face with the employees doing their best to take care of their needs. Listen to how I'm gonna repeat that for anyone who is not hearing the highlights here. Customer Wars spotlights the conflicts that arise when disgruntled and irrational customers come face to face with employees doing their best to take care of their needs.
Who you calling irrational, bitch?
Exactly. So my coupon's expired, and I'm the customer who's always right. This is going to sound like a show that we're shitting on a bunch of customers. We're not, but
I might be.
But it's not the goal. If we get there, it is what it is. Y'all should stop being assholes. My goal in this is kind of
David.
So Customer Wars.
So kind.
Hey.
You shut your mouth.
I'm Josh.
That was a juxtaposition.
What, after you watch the show, if you had to tell someone how real it was, how close is it to you every day?
Oh, none of, like I said, I was desensitized. None of it's shocking. Like that's just every day. That could be a Tuesday.
Is it fair to say that that's the exception interaction, but they're all reasonable? They've all happened. They're all things that will happen, but they rarely do.
Yeah, I mean it's not happening every 5 minutes.
Yeah,
but I mean, if it's happening twice a week.
Yeah, but earlier you said
that
you were kind of desensitized to it. Do you feel that this is something that happens? Like we talked about it before, you and I.
Yeah,
talked about work, retail, hospitality, or fucking hospitals. Like these are the industries that teach you a certain level of like you just kind of know how to conflict manage. Like fucking this is de-escalate, and you know how to like red alert, how to deal with that.
Yeah.
Do you feel that that's something that the normal people? This is weird because we've all come from a standpoint where this is easy. If your friend or family who's never worked retail watch that, they would think it's wild, right?
Correct.
How do you translate that to them?
So, I think that's a hell of a sack. Sorry.
He did what I did last week.
My bad. I would say, like, I would compare it to my sister, right? My sister's never worked a retail day in her life. And some of the shit that me and my dad both have told her, like, things that have happened just on, like, a random day of the week. She's like, are you for real? Are you, like, embellishing? Is that hyperbole? What's going on? Yeah. And I'm like, nah, if anything, I might have watered it down a little bit.
Yeah.
It could be just because it was so bizarre that if I did say it out loud, it'd be like, no fucking chance anybody's going to believe this.
And you have to explain the back details to that and why that would happen.
Right.
Yeah.
And she's like, that's insane. It's nuts. So it's almost tough to explain, but at the same time, we've been exposed to it for so long that, like I said, we're desensitized, right? It's like, oh yeah, that's just a normal day, whatever. Yeah. Like, it's crazy. We acknowledge the fact that it's nuts and it shouldn't happen, but at the same time, it's like, I'm unbothered. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to lose sleep tonight over the craziness that this woman just dropped in my store.
Yeah, that's maybe the number one skill you learn in those situations is compartmentalization.
We'll get to transferable skills, because that's actually an interesting thing that we learned as you go through it.
Yeah.
Because I just kind of want to touch on your, not touching your sister, sorry. Miss Crazy. That conversation with your sister. I'm sorry.
Older sister?
Sister Mantooth is a saint, too.
Sister Mantooth is a saint.
That was one of those slow burn right there. That was great.
Hey, bring it back. So, what industries, no names, what industry does she work in primarily?
She is in...
That's how you can tell your family you don't pay attention.
She's subcontracted through the military as a sports science professional.
So she's on what would be seen as seen as in someone that's like some next level, some high end shit, and she still looks at you like that can't be real.
Well, she's not. It doesn't sound like she's very customer facing, right?
I know. Wait,
it's more bedside manner type stuff.
But we're getting there. Stop. Folks,
I'm so sorry for participating in a conversation.
We're going to shut your mic off in 2 minutes.
I know. No, you can participate. I'm just trying to get to the point. What I'm getting is that she's on some next level shit where there's some high end, high pressure shit, and she still looks at you like you deal with that.
Yeah.
And that's something she can't wrap her head around, right?
Right. Because she's never been exposed to it. She never like waitressed, like food industry, used to hospitality and stuff like that. Like hospitality, food, hospitals, I think you mentioned too. Like healthcare. That's for sure up there.
And that's something that
that's a skill set that if you don't work in any of those industries, you don't, I don't want to say you don't appreciate it. You probably appreciate it, but you just don't understand it.
We're going to go around go to David, because I have a follow-up with that, because I want to see about how like that turns into a personality trait.
Okay.
We're going to go there. Dave, I know that
it's your turn now. You can
finally.
Yeah, I know you've been impatient.
Unmute myself.
I'm going to get one of those buttons when I upgrade. Subscribe to the Patreon so I can upgrade to mute David. Listen,
please do that. Let's rock and roll.
I will fund that.
Fuck you.
Listen.
Let's rock and roll.
All right, so tell me about your time like when you were in retail. Craziest kind of not craziest. We already kind of went to Christmas one. Did you have a crazy Christmas one?
I had a little bit of something happen. This is pretty early in my my shift leadership days. This was back when we were full scale in the Wild West of like retail loss prevention.
Yeah, do me a favor and just break down for anyone who's never worked retail what the Wild West is compared to the time now.
If you're off camera, it's cool. Is that fair to say?
That's the greatest sum up I think I might have ever heard.
Yeah.
If you're off camera, it's cool.
Yeah, we've thrown a homeless guy who stole his bike into the compactor.
Hey, this is my time.
Bro, same.
This is my time.
I've done that too.
This is all my time.
So
this is all my time.
During this time, during that particular week, there was like there was a toy that was on sale that week. It was like a remote control car, and it's pretty common in our field. You put those like big leaders at the front of the store to really make sure that people could see those. And a guy comes in and he snatches two and he just runs out the door. And I said, "Fuck this cat." That's because your team fucking sucks. So I said, "Fuck this guy," and I run out after him. And again, Wild West. Okay, this is not the environment. This is not a recent environment. So this guy runs behind the store, and his getaway car is behind the store because he apparently needs two fucking RC cars for Christmas or whatever. And I shoulder tackle him into the side of the building to get my two remote control cars back. And then he runs into his car, and I take the remote control cars back inside.
You built that up. I thought it was going to get into a scuffle. He just dropped it and ran?
I mean, I'm not meaning to edify myself, but I'm not a small man. I'm a big guy. I'm aware of these facts. It's just that I just have a lot of mass, right? And I fucking planted his skull in the side of a concrete building.
He just got up like bum strong.
I mean, he wasn't running in a straight line. You know?
Is it Aaron Hernandez CTE type of shit?
I mean, it could have been. I don't know what happened to the guy. I didn't follow up with him after.
Antonio Brown.
Oh, both.
Oh, AB. He got some serious situations.
Apparently, Aaron Hernandez had some CTE shit.
Yeah, and he choked.
No.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But, so, fucking, what your staff said when you came back, I got the cars back. Did you explain what happened?
I didn't elaborate. Is that the kind of situation where you explain what it is that you just did?
No.
Again, if it's off camera, it's cool. You don't talk about it. You know, I mean, again,
Yeah.
there's some times where I worked in a store that was in a less than desirable place that had a liquor store on it, not the same store you were at, but in a city nearby, and you'd have people try to sneak out with bottles, and they'd run out near a garbage can, and you'd make sure they found their way in it, and you got your bottles back.
That's a way. That's a way.
And again, to my point earlier, none of this shocks me.
None of
Yeah,
And
and
This
none
is
of
just
it's
like a
worth it.
normal day.
It's not worth it. Like this,
like
When all three of us were working, we would call each other and be like, "Hey, guess what just happened?"
Yeah.
And you'd
Yeah.
tell us a story like that, and be like, "Oh yeah, okay,
Yeah.
no worries."
no. What's
That's
worse?
Tuesday.
No, what's the worst is when we would call each other, tell the story, and say, "I know that guy.
yeah, yeah.
He was in my store last week. He stole batteries.
100%.
Did he try to return those batteries at your store?" Like,
100%.
that was always the fucking worst because it was like, this motherfucker really did that
So
shit.
when we were all three with the same company, we were pretty fucking close to each other. This just dawned on me. We were literally probably the closest three locations
You
within our
were
company.
like maybe 2 stores removed. He and I were down the street.
Oh yeah,
but-
I could throw a rock at his store.
yeah,
If you head up the I'm being very nondescript here.
yeah.
If
Yeah.
you headed up the
There,
highway
there were
in one
two.
direction,
There were two
There was
stores between
two-
us.
yeah.
2 to 3.
were there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm thinking maybe outside of
No, but
our local area.
Yeah.
Our local
Oh,
district.
even then, we were still pretty freaking
yeah,
close.
him and I were literally 5 minutes away.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm glad you guys love each other so fucking much.
Well, we do. Okay, and you were just
that
formality,
explains why I'm on the end of the table while you guys are looking at each other.
deeply and madly and truly.
Would you have really pretty eyes, by the way.
I know.
Oh,
Thanks.
single.
Ah, goddamn. Jesus Christ. By choice.
And that's
Listen,
coming from a Georgia fan to a Florida fan.
yeah, listen.
Hey.
So
Love.
so that I think that what I want to talk to you about, kind of get back to when we translate that to people. I don't know if David had someone he had to translate that to, because I think pretty much a lot of the people in your immediate family, your wife, brother-in-law, all of them had worked retail, David. So they kind of know that life. So it's not something that's weird to discuss with them. They know that life.
At the time of that story,
Yeah.
I had not met the woman that I would marry.
Oh, okay. So when you translated that to your friends and family, how
I
did
thought
it-
it was fucking wild.
Yeah.
But
But
when it's in the industry, it's I mean
Every
it's
day.
funny. Don't get
Yeah.
me wrong, but it's not.
It's funny, but when you take a step back and think about the shit we deal with,
Yeah,
we went through some dangerous and crazy shit,
yeah,
and we joke about it, have fun with it, but we talked about like when we refer to the wild west, where the industry changed to a lot more, hey, employee safety, was because some shit happened. You don't make a caution sign. You don't say, hey, this coffee is insanely hot, because of no reason. You made it because someone poured coffee on themselves and destroyed their whole fucking lower torso. We make soft stop because motherfuckers get stabbed in the chest over toothpaste in the front of a store and bleed out in Boston. This really happened.
Yeah.
Like, this is shit that's crazy, but we are so just, it's wild. The guy, I think the guy had a gun. Oh yeah, really? Yeah, it's fucking crazy. We laugh about it, have fun, have some wings and a beer, and move on. And we are asked to always remain calm.
but it's super fucking funny because we don't get like that's not our shit. They're stealing.
It's-
It's not.
Yeah.
We don't. In
Yeah,
no
but-
way are we negatively impacted. It was just this like point of pride.
It was a pride thing, exactly.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
yeah, and it's hard to remove, right? It's ingrained in you when you work in this industry. Take pride in everything in here,
Yeah.
but not so much that you can get in danger.
Right.
Like you can't have one without the other, and I think that's something that we had to like learn to compartmentalize. To David's point earlier, I was listening; he just kept interrupting. But like your classic Georgia, but the show Customer Wars. What I loved about the show is that there are some things that you see, like interviews and people talk about it, and they're almost always siding with the employee, which is so good to fucking see.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because the most part, and I'm not talking about our companies or companies that anyone that we've worked for, we get a phone call from corporate, we're the bad guy.
Yep.
Every fucking time.
Always
Which-
err on the side of the customer.
Which just actually bleeds into the problem there. I feel like a lot of.
I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to dig too
I'm
deep
not
into
running
that.
there,
Yeah,
but
I'm
you know
not
what I
running
mean.
there. But it's good to see the show shed light of like, yo, this employee handled that like a G.
yeah.
Like there was one episode that I saw where a customer was standing at a drive-through of a Burger King. They're like, "I'm sorry, we have no one's working," And she's drunk off her ass. She's standing at the drive-thru, and she's like, "Well, can I go inside and cook the food?" And one of the employees is like, "You can hop on in if you want." And she hops over in a pink dress.
Was in the dress. Yeah, okay.
In the dress.
What the fuck? I did see this recently.
And the manager is like, "I can't let you cook because you're not in uniform or shit." He said, "Well, treat it like it's my training day." Blah blah blah.
How
And,
bad does she want a Whopper?
and all these employees are just watching this like, this is ridiculous.
Did you do anal beads for a Whopper?
How many Whoppers?
2.
1 year supply.
Yes.
Oh, answer changed real quick.
1 year supply of Whoppers? Do you know the monetary value of that?
Limit 3 Whoppers per day.
Yeah, still okay.
Fucking deal.
God damn. All right.
What's the diameter of these anal beads?
We're not doing a diameter thing. I
not-
don't.
I'm
I don't
not-
want to Google diameter of anal beads on
I'm
my
not shoving
history.
globes up my ass, but we're
Can
talking
you
like 2-3
you can
inches.
Google you can Google the average
It's
diameter on
not
your
a
phone.
mayonnaise jar, bro.
What's the average diameter of anal beads? Oh,
this is
she
really
didn't pick it
she's
up.
watching
She didn't
it
even
again.
want to answer that.
Yeah,
but
she
my
figured.
but my point is, like, I love the fact that this show shed light on that and kind of showed what we were going through and a lot of employees go through. And hopefully enough customers watch this and self-reflect and see, because I don't work retail anymore. I don't fucking care.
Right.
But there are people in that industry that are busting their ass every day, and you come in and you shit on that team member. They weren't the ones who cheated on you, Linda.
Oh, it's a
Your husband
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
It's always worth putting into the context that the employee has absolutely no beef against you.
Yeah.
They have nothing to gain
Yes.
by shortchanging you, overcharging you, hiding something for you, whatever. Literally nothing. And treating them like they're an actual human is going to get you a lot more
Yeah.
than being a fucking dickhead.
We're gonna finish this out with, I promise to God that 99.9% of the people in the industry will fucking take care of you if you're a decent human being.
1,000.
If you're a good person,
Yeah.
I will fucking go above and beyond to take care of you. If you walk in and you pull a full Karen move, I will go above and beyond to find any kind of minor rule to shut you down.
They'll
Yeah.
do as little as possible to get you to leave.
Yeah.
Yep.
I will. All I could do is this. All I can do is mail in a coupon with a rebate.
Yeah.
With 3 people who have to authorize it, but you might get something in
Because
6 to 8 weeks.
as a manager, you have the power to do literally anything. I
Not
could take
literally.
a $1,000 item and make it a penny. It wouldn't look good. I'd probably get fired
Yeah.
for it. But I can do it.
I'd have a chat, that's for sure.
yeah.
But it can happen, right? But I mean, be cool, and you probably are going to get what you need as long as it's reasonable. But don't be a fucking asshole.
With that being said, we're going to give you a little bit of a quick break, everyone, and hopefully you guys enjoy a little bit of transitional music. But we're going to come back and we're going to pour up a little bit of Uncle Nearest. Be right back, guys.
Fuck you.
I'm having
Oh
flashbacks,
my
dude.
god. I just literally saw the make and model of the phone. Fuck you, Cisco. Oh, Cisco. I can't quiet right now. I can't. This is coming off, guys. Sorry.
All right, guys. I'm sorry for that hold music. I appreciate your call. Your answer was ordered and the first order was received. So welcome back to the show. Something about that hold music does slap a little bit, but it is what it is. So before we get too heavy into our next pour of Uncle Nearest 1884, I did want to kind of follow up with our conversation about retail and those shitty situations, those wild situations, because it can't be bad all the time, right? So let's talk about some of the positives. Can you guys share about some good situations, man? What made you like one time go, shit, retail ain't that bad, man. Retail ain't that bad. We're going to open up with Dave. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, so mine's actually, it's pretty simple. It's not this huge elaborate story. It was just a time where I was placed in a position where I felt like I could make a difference. I was newly promoted to be the general manager of a store. It was on a relatively busy highway near a school, and we just recently come across some.
You allowed near those?
Well, I wasn't 50 feet from the front door, so I was good.
Safe.
Yeah, it was good. So we came awkward. There's like a bit of a cold front that comes through. Like, I don't know how familiar everyone is with Florida weather. I'm sure you are, but on occasion we'll just have just a chilly week out of nowhere, right? There was a father and son that came in. God, they must have come in early in the morning, probably 7:30, 8:30, something like that. And the son did not have a jacket. He was just kind of there, t-shirt on, and you could tell. Just judging by appearances, this was not a family of means, and you could see that the dad was kind of having to make a difficult choice. Like, is he going to have to go steal some hot hands, and so his son can get to school okay, or, what's he going to do? And I was able to kind of quickly identify that, and just stepped in and just said, hey, I found these couple. They're damaged. Do you guys want these instead of having to buy them? And you could just see the absolute just relief on his face.
Shit, really?
Yeah.
It was it's like, because you're right, though. Florida's like a really not far and few between when we have cold fronts like that.
Yeah, but it does happen.
Yeah.
There are just some mornings, 8 o'clock in the morning where it's just fucking cold. Maybe 10, 15 days out of the year tops.
Yeah. What did he say when you offered it to him?
So this was kind of like a man-to-man thing where I was just like, hey, let's just keep this nice and chill. Because ultimately what I did was I just opened a package and handed them to him, and I paid for him after he left. But I think he kind of knew what was going down. But it was kind of like this is a dad with his boy. And I just had a son myself, so it was kind of like a bit of a dad-to-dad moment there.
So it made you a little bit more empathetic to the situation?
It did. So, I mean, obviously, I try to be empathetic to others who are in positions
Yeah,
to
of
need.
course, yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of a unique situation where I feel like I was equipped to step in and help. I was able to help him, save face in front of his boy, because no dad ever wants to feel like they can't provide for their son or their kid as a whole.
Yeah, you especially to your point, you want to make sure that your kid also doesn't know that struggle. We talked about it in a
100%.
recent episode. We talked about it on the Thanksgiving episode. You don't want your child to know the struggle because that's not their burden to bear, right?
100%.
They don't need that. That's on you. Like, this is a responsibility. Whenever a parent is like, "Oh, yeah, I brought you into this world, bro," you made that choice. The kid did not.
The kid is not responsible for your choice.
Yeah, exactly. Your job as a parent, and I'm not a parent, but I fucking work in retail as a manager, feels like I was.
No kidding.
Your burden to bear is remove that stress from them and let them fucking operate, live their best life. As a kid, live your best life. Because I can tell you right now, as a person who's been guilted, like, I'm not to get too deep, but as a person who's been guilted for the choices my parents have made, it sucks. It puts a burden on you that you don't need. You're rushing to be an adult because you want to remove that burden from your parents, and you never become a kid.
Yeah.
So
and it was just super cool to have that I was actually a super new dad at that point. And it was cool to have that father to father moment where no words were needed, but we both understood what was going down. It was like, hey, I got you this time. You have somebody in the future when you can, but I got you this time.
Pay it
kind of
forward.
situation.
That's pretty awesome, man. That's actually a really good moment.
Yeah, that's something that stuck with me. I don't talk about it a whole lot because it's not a big deal in the grand scheme of things.
But that was
it
impactful
felt
for
good.
him. Like,
Yeah.
it might have been momentary, but that was impactful for him. You made a decision for him where he had to he maintained that integrity. Because a kid might not look like they're paying attention, but Dad, I know you didn't pay for that at the register.
Yeah.
Like, he knows. He knows his dad would have stolen that.
But I mean, on the opposite foot, if I was ever in a situation where it was between me stealing something and my son going cold or going without,
I'm stealing
10 times out of 10, I'm stealing it.
Yeah.
No questions asked.
Yeah. And for anyone who is listening at home and doesn't know fucking the life of retail, like, I never care. Like, not that I never care. I care substantially less if someone's stealing, like, baby formula or food.
Oh, that's definitely
or some
happened.
shit like that.
Someone comes to steal formula and I see it.
There's a kid involved.
If there's a kid involved,
Especially if you're picking up a prescription, they can't afford a $2 copay
I'll
for
pay for that
kids'
shit.
medicine. It's like
It's happened countless times.
I've paid for more amoxicillin for a child that's not mine.
right, exactly.
It's just not shit I even talk about. It's just, hey, here's,
Yeah.
It's
Charges
just,
the
it's
game.
just a
Don't even
human
worry
thing
about
to do.
Yeah, charges the game. And what's always shitty is that there's always those team members that are like, you really paid for that? It's like, yeah, because I'm not a piece of
scumbag.
shit.
I did.
I mean, now that I'm not there anymore, I've had a customer that was going to steal formula,
Yeah.
and I called them, and I handed them another one and said, leave.
Damn.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
here's
yeah.
take two.
Take
Get
two.
out.
Get the fuck out. I think it's one of those things that people often forget, that there are people in need and need help and want to do the right thing, but they can't. For whatever circumstances, I'm not your life coach. I'm not here to fucking tell you how to live your fucking goddamn life. But if it cost me $5 and I kept your kid from being sick, that was fucking the best $5 I spent all week.
Right.
100%.
I spent more on guac. and I don't need that shit.
Money should never prevent you from being human.
Yeah.
Prevent you from helping your fellow man, fellow woman, or whatever.
Because again, to circle back, it's not the kid's fault.
Yeah,
100%.
it's not the kid's fault.
100%.
Yeah, it's when I see homeless people. Like, I've seen homeless people with dogs, and like, oh, I'm trying to feed. And it's like, oh, I swear to God, I've fed that dog more than once. I've come back with like dog food, and I'm like, here's a bottle of water, bro. And he's like, what the fuck? I'm like, it's not the dog's fault.
Yeah.
Like, they're loyal as shit. It's not the dog's fault. Not shitting on you for the bad decisions you made, kind of, but I love the dog.
I mean, a lot of
Because that's a
times-
factor too.
Yeah.
that is a factor.
You've made some bad choices. The dog's
Yeah.
just loyal and is trusting you to make better decisions.
Right.
That's what a kid is. Did I just compare kids to dogs? Dogs are so
Yep.
much better.
I mean, they're not wholly uncomparable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love my son a lot more than I love my dog, but there are similar. A dog is great training for having a kid.
Except dogs are cooler.
And you don't have to put kids down.
I mean, you can.
Oh, God damn it.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that. That's a dark moment. All right. So, Josh, anything, it can't all be bad. Any great or good memories? There's solid memories that you had. If you don't have one, I got one.
Yeah, I mean, probably one of the coolest ones. I have one from me, and then I have one that I know my dad had too. Mine was probably more of a cool moment, not necessarily like all nice, warm and fuzzy, wholehearted moment like David had, but I was in Daytona at the time, and the store I was working at was about a mile from the track during the 500, the Daytona 500.
The NASCAR, okay.
Yeah. And my store manager and I were in the office doing something, count the safe, something office related. And we had like the CCTV screen in front of us.
As we always do, baby.
As we always do.
Always watching that screen.
And he's like, is that Daryl Waltrip at the pharmacy counter?
Who? Was your manager white?
Yeah. Yeah. So Daryl Waltrip was he was a driver,
Yeah.
and then he went to the booth, just announced NASCAR races and stuff like that. But he was famous for boogity boogie boogie. Wow. Boogity boogity
Wow.
boogity. Let's go racing. That was like his thing. And so like if you're Googling him right
Was
now,
that
which I'm
ever
sure
famous?
you are. Did you guys see Cars?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was Daryl Cartrip.
Oh, never would have made that.
That's-
never would have made that connection.
Yeah, that's who he was.
Boogity, boogity, boogity! Let's go racing, boys!
That guy.
Well, I hate that already.
Right.
Heard that
So
one
that
time and
guy-
I dislike it.
He was at the pharmacy counter. My boss is like, you got to go help him. Go see if he needs any help with anything. So I go back there and I'm like, hey, how you doing? Can I help you? And he's like, yeah, actually I need to pick out some mascara. I'm like, excuse me?
What? So what the fuck?
He goes, yeah, I got to be on TV tomorrow and they need me to have my eyes all fixed up. I was like,
Oh, my God.
holy
NASCAR
shit,
to
dude.
provide its own mascara?
Oh, Jesus Christ. So I'm walking
What
down the
budget cuts
cosmetics
are in
aisle. Dude, I'm
NASCAR?
walking down the cosmetics aisle with fucking Daryl Waltrip picking out mascara with this guy so he can be on the Daytona 500 the next day with
Did you
fucking
watch?
eyeliner.
Did you
on.
watch the 500?
Yeah.
Did
Actually,
you-
I might have gone to that one. I don't remember.
Bro, I want to go to the Rolex 500 in January, which is
Rolex 24 hour.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 24 hours. Group 3 race.
Yeah, I've been there 3 times.
You want to go this year? I'm going to buy tickets.
Sure.
Hey,
Yeah,
I'll go.
Hey,
I'll text
hey.
you. You coming, G?
Do that. off
Anyway,
here.
so that's
Yeah.
a cool one that I have. The other one, kind of a quick story, was
David's so excited to have you in town that he's just like this casual friendship.
Bro,
more white
I
trash.
fuck with Josh all the time, but I low key kind of like me and him get along pretty well, so I love him.
yeah, not low key, high key. I
Love
can
you
see
too,
it.
bro. But I think the other like good story I have is from my dad. So he was in the same store for like 14 years at one point when he worked for the same company we did. So he had a lot more regular customers that he developed relationships with. Anyway, one was a super nice old lady, and when she died, she was older. So when she died, our last name is Rice. Her last name was Rice. She had like a 14 or 15 set of nice crystal glasses with like the Rice crest and everything like laser engraved into them. And her husband came and gave my dad those glasses. This was probably
That's
10
fucking
or,
badass.
10 or 15 years ago.
I was trying to think of a joke to fuck with you, but that's low key pretty cool.
So
That's
and there's
badass.
there's one of them. I don't know if it was his or hers or whatever, but there's one that's a little bit taller. It's like maybe an inch, half inch taller with the full R with the crest, and then all the other ones just have the crest on them. But like super nice crystal glasses with engravings and everything. He still has them in his china cabinet to this day.
That's one of the coolest
Yeah.
fucking things.
So whenever I go back to his house, probably like a couple times a year, he does homebrew stuff too. So he makes his own beer. So we'll bust out a couple of those glasses, put some homebrew in it, and partake.
That's actually really fucking cool, man. I don't have
Yeah,
nearly enough as cool of a story as that.
yeah.
Yeah, tell us your lame ass story.
Yeah, it's gonna be lame compared to that. I mean, 23 years with the company. I'm sure there's better stories, but
The jersey behind
that's
you, maybe?
what I was gonna bring up. So
Is that Larry?
I remember
Yeah.
the day that
Yeah.
happened.
So there was a customer I had taken over the store, and the previous store manager was kind of a dick. So I took over the store, and a customer is coming in, and he's buying like these sparkling waters, and he's loading up his shopping cart. A bigger dude. I'm like, what? I'm watching him. I was like, hey, do you just want these by the case? And he stared at me. He's like, the store manager told me you couldn't do that. I had to buy them individually. And I stared at him and was like, well, so I'm the store manager. So was it the old store manager? He's like, yeah, it's some British dude. Yeah.
Oh, I thought this happened at your last store, and I was about to get really excited.
No, it was some British dude. He said he couldn't do that. And, well, he's a liar, and I can do that. I can get it to you by the case instead of you having to do whatever you're doing. He's like, oh, well, thank you. He's like, can I order them by the case? Like, sure. How many are you drinking of these? And he's buying these sparkling waters, like 48 at a time of each flavor.
Jesus.
I'm like, what the fuck, bro? Whatever. I don't care.
Yeah.
Hey, that's you. He's like, well, is it not a pain? It's easier if I sell them to you by the case because I don't have to unload them and then you empty my shelf and I refill them and you empty my shelf and I unload them. Yeah. I was like, no, man, of course not. But in a customer service standpoint, I was like, this is an easy thing for me to do.
It's such a simple win.
Yeah, easy
win. Why
win.
did we make that barrier?
Yeah, so I hooked him up. I took care of him. A week later, he comes back. He's like, hey, do you have sugar-free peanut butter? Yeah. He's like, can you order that by the case? Sure. Isn't it cheaper for you to get a Costco card? He's like, I don't drive much, and this is like 5 minutes away. Sure. Okay, I got
How
you.
much fucking peanut butter does this guy eat?
Him, his brother, and his mom at the time. So they were like basically stocking up, and his mom had dementia. His brother had a full-time job basically taking care of a bulk of the needs, so he wasn't stopping, and he was tasked with like kind of taking care of the household. But, you know, through conversations, this guy keeps coming in. You find out this guy had like damn near like almost like mob ties. Like this man had a super interesting life. He's like, yeah, I take pictures and I photograph full time, but I used to work for the NBA and NFL, and I did photography for this, and I did this, and I was also hosting events and all this other stuff. Just a random eclectic, like he was just pulling in side quests. Like this man is at this point, I'm now invested in this person as a human being. I enjoy this guy. He's like, hey, do you need me to call the store every time? I was like, just text me. So I give him my cell. I was like, just text me what you need me to order. I'll order it. Tell you when it comes in. You come through. Built this relationship, cool as shit. Shows me the pictures of him in Ecuador and fucking Utah, all these beautiful landscapes. He's like, yeah, I have like 45 cameras at home. Jesus. The fuck? I'm talking about this guy.
Like film?
Yeah.
Like disposable cameras?
Yeah, no, like real deal professional camera. Like he will set up, like he took pictures for like he took pictures at the World Series. Like he was like,
which one?
It was Boston. It was like during the World
Doesn't
Series,
matter.
Boston.
What
It
a
doesn't matter.
fucking poverty series, Boston involved.
But he was taking pictures for the longest time. I know you want to bring it back to sports, but he had lived a life that was super fulfilling, and I found him such an interesting person. His name is Joe. Got along, and I just kept taking care of him. Whatever he ordered, I got you. Hey, I need 5 energy drinks. Sure, they're not healthy for you though. At some point, I started becoming invested. Like Joe, the shit you're asking me for is going to put you in an early grave. Relax.
Joe, worried about your cholesterol, Joe.
Yeah, I'm like, Joe, relax. And he was like, oh, really? I was like, yeah, relax. This is how much caffeine these have. And I started taking care of him because now I'm invested in this person as a human being, and I've built a relationship, kind of rapport. Yep. Dude, at some point, he just says, yeah, man, I love you, man. I was like, all right, Joe. I was like, all right, Joe, I love you too, buddy.
I like you too, Joe.
No, but he's been my customer now for 8.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
But he's like 8 months strong with this customer. I was like, yeah, I have no beef with this guy. Guy's fucking awesome. He's like, hey, you said you like sports, right? Yeah. He's like, what's your favorite sport? I guess football. He's like, who's your favorite player? I'm like, well, it depends on the position. This NFL. Like, who's your favorite wide receiver?
Julio Jones.
I was Larry Fitzgerald. And Larry Fitzgerald, because he's a humble, chill dude, gets the job done, shuts the fuck up, and works his ass off and is better, is a prototype of wide receivers. Yep. He's like, all right, cool, good to know. I was like, all right, I don't know what the fuck that means. Dude shows up a week and a half later, says, hey, I was like, I'm sorry, I've been gone so long. I was at a golf tournament my company runs or organizes the event for. Cool. He's like, hey, can you help me take this water to the car? I was like, sure. Helped him out, put it in his car. And he's like, hey, this is for you. Hands me a bag. He's like, I know I'm not supposed to give you a tip. I'm like, okay, what the fuck is this? And I open the bag.
What's in the bag?
What's in the bag?
It's like Gwyneth Paltrow's head?
Yeah. No, it's better than that. It was a signed Larry Fitzgerald jersey. And dude says, yeah, my last tournament that I ran, this was the list of athletes. And hands me Aaron Rodgers, like fucking a bunch of fucking people. He had Willis McGahee, a bunch of athletes. Like they were all participating in a celebrity golf tournament. So I looked for whoever your favorite wide receiver was and made sure I found him and made him sign a jersey.
That's fucking cool.
So I ordered you a jersey in your size and asked him, hey man, sign this. And after this time of 8 months, he found out enough information about me and he wanted to pay it back. He's like, you've been so good to me. You've been making sure you're taken care of. And I got like, bullshit. He handed me, he's like, I have pictures of Aaron Rodgers signed. I got a bunch of people because I didn't know who you liked. So I had it earlier golf tournaments, and you said you didn't like Aaron Rodgers because he's an asshole. And I
He's
said
a
I stick to
bitch.
that. I'm like 100%. I stick to that. You handed me that, I would have thrown it out.
Like
No,
a
you just
Delta
sold it on
jersey.
eBay, get some ayahuasca in return.
But to that, I have a picture of Brian Urlacher signed before he came out with those racist comments. I have that signed somewhere hidden. But dude, just to this day, he calls me. He says, "Hey, I need this shot. Hey, I need this. Hey, because we work retail pharmacy. Hey, I need this," and I will always make sure he's taken care of. Him, his brother, his mom has passed since then. Yeah. He's lost 300 pounds. I've been there for this journey of him.
Lost
300 pounds. Yeah,
Holy
close to
hell.
300 pounds. He lost a fuck ton of weight. He was heavier when I told you he wasn't driving much.
Yeah, you weren't kidding.
So when
Because he couldn't fit in a car.
no, that and like he had knee issues. So me going
big
just
boy.
what for me felt like easy peasy was life changing for him.
That's fair.
So for him, it was super impactful in every aspect of his life. As someone was going, what was just my regular customer service, to him, he's like, you made a difference in everything I was doing. He's like, you don't know how much easier you made my life.
I mean, you've had some pretty cool shit happen to you kind of randomly as well. Like, there was a time where you were just having lunch, eating tacos, wearing a Ravens jersey.
Oh, I met the trainer, one of the
There's
training.
a motherfucking Ravens trainer at the place you're eating tacos and cooked you up with swag.
So for that story, I was eating at not Ten Tacos. I was eating Hunger Street Tacos. I was wearing a Ravens jersey.
Shout out to Taco though.
Yeah,
those
Ten
tacos are fucking unbelievable.
fantastic.
Well, Hunger Street's better. Hunger
Really?
Street's more traditional.
No
I
shit.
like traditional tacos.
Okay.
Not
Where'd you say originally?
Ten
Taco.
Taco.
Oh, no, Hunger Street.
Hunger Street's
I've never
better.
had it.
Oh, we'll go. Now that you're in Florida, we'll go.
Sweet.
But I was sitting there. It was like, hey, wear your favorite jersey, your sports day shirt, whatever. So I'm sitting there, and a guy, I see he has a Ravens polo. He's like, oh, what do you think about our chances this year? I was like, oh, well, and I said my piece. I was like, I'm optimistic. Hopefully Mark Andrews gets signed, blah, blah. Like Isaiah Likely looks really good. I'm really optimistic. I'm hoping that we throw a little bit more. And we had a full conversation. He's asking me prying questions like, this is weird. I guess he was testing if I was a real fan. And he's like, yeah. So he's like, all right, he's like, oh, well, good talking to you, man. It seems like you know your shit. I was like, yeah, man, I'm really invested in the team. I'm invested in fantasy football too. So I just like football. Goes to his car, comes back, hands me a training, like a Yeti and like bands and some other shit, some swag. He's like, yeah, I'm one of the trainers for the Baltimore Ravens. We're in town because they're playing an away game in Tampa for it was like preseason or whatever. He's like, yeah, so I'm just in town here because I used to go to what's that school where all the rich kids are?
In Florida?
Yeah, right here next to Winter Park.
Something in Winter Park.
Rollins.
Oh, Rollins.
He's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm a Rollins alumni, so I was visiting. So I have a bunch of friends out here. And he's just like talking. He's like, I have all the swag. If you want the tickets, I can give them to you. I'm like, I have to work. But oh my God. He's like, yeah, you should take
Should
all
have got
this.
those tickets in a minute. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
take all this free swag. And I'll be like, okay. He's like, yeah, Isaiah Likely's one of our up and comings, and we have a lot of faith in him. I'm like, okay. So I just got walked away with a bunch of free shit. Like, this is
Nothing
great.
wrong with that.
This is just the bullshit that fucking happens to him in his
Yeah.
life.
You're just a better person than us.
Yeah.
that's why.
Yeah, you just accidentally walk into cool shit.
Accidentally, I'm just a
back
decent
into
human
trees
being.
in my front yard. Like, I don't know what the difference is in our lives, but I need to do better.
I feel like Josh just told you exactly what the difference was.
Yeah, exactly. I know
we're
it.
not that bad of people, are we?
We're pieces of shit.
Just to each other.
When you say, so when you say trainer, is he an athletic trainer?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what my sister does
Oh, okay.
for fighter pilots.
Oh, shit.
That's what she does.
That's fucking
when I
cool
gave you
as
that
hell.
Like, they're
Crazy,
helping them handle
when I gave you
Gs
that
and shit?
crazy long-winded explanation in the first episode,
That's still cool
that's
as shit.
what she does.
So you're not a piece of shit. You're
Still
just
this
an idiot.
episode, by
Correct.
the way. Still this
Okay.
episode. By the
Yeah, a
way.
little both.
Fair enough.
Probably a good mix.
I know that like time travel is weird and all, but this is still the same episode that you talked about it.
Just the first part of the episode.
Whoops.
I'm just fucking with you. But that's actually really cool for fighter pilots. That's a fucking hella interesting industry.
I mean, she worked for the Jags for 2 years.
How do you this
Jags like the pilots or Jags like the
Duval.
athletes? Okay.
like the NFL team?
Yeah.
How does
Jags
one,
is a thing.
It's fair. That's a lawyer.
When you
court.
say
I'm trying to ask a fucking question, if you don't mind. Thank you. How does one train the body to withstand more G's?
I don't know the particulars of her job.
Does she just like
But
hold them by the
there's-
hand and spin them in circles
No,
until
there's machines and stuff because you got to
what
think.
kind of silly ass question was that? He's not his sister.
Yeah, I
Certainly,
know
he's
where he
asked her
trained.
questions.
I have, and a lot of it's like machine training. So they have like calisthenics and all that kind of stuff. But they mostly do like resistance training for G's
With their necks?
for G-force. Yeah,
That's
so
like F1
because they
drivers.
have to turn so
Yeah, they, like-
rapidly and under so much gravitational force.
Yeah.
so they do like resistance training and stuff like that.
Because a pilot can get up to 9 Gs.
Correct,
Give or take.
She got
without,
to she got to do a ride with one too.
They'll fuck her up.
Yeah.
Right? So, relating it back to my world, like Formula One drivers, those guys get up to like 5.5.
Like, have you ever?
It's a video game!
Have you been within 10 feet of a fucking F1 car?
What I mean is things I'm familiar.
world.
Things I'm
You said
familiar
my
with.
world.
Things I have exposure to. Things I'm familiar with. Not things that I do, but things that I'm familiar with. Formula One drivers get about 5.5 to 6 Gs in those freakish fucking cars that are absolute feats of engineering.
Yeah.
You're doing time and a half that in a jet. Like how? I just don't know how the fuck.
So it's
You've
some
seen those
preventative.
necks those guys
Yeah,
have.
it's some preventative stuff, but they also like after every flight, they also get treatment to make sure that everything stays limber
And
and
they wear
loose,
like
and they don't.
suits and stuff.
Yeah, they got
Because the
flight
race
suits
suit
and
doesn't
stuff.
do a whole lot
Yeah,
to
it's
you
like
for-
Top Gun. It's that.
It's practically exactly the same.
Yeah, there's no difference.
Yeah, just drop a bomb, grab an F-14 to zip out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's in here sixth place. So we're gonna go on and go ahead to our
Race
next
me.
question. I'm not.
You don't want that
All I gotta do is get in fifth, and I beat you.
Yeah. the bar is really
Good
low.
luck getting off the last place. Come through. All right.
So, all right. So, obviously, so we've all talked a little bit about retail. We had a little bit of fun here. It's going to be a very quick water break, and then we're going to go right back into it. It's not going to be hold music, I promise you. Even though I really want to play it because it slaps. Be right back, guys.
Yeah.
Hey guys, while you're listening to the show, I know that you guys want to join in a little bit with us and pouring something up. Here at the show, we ask that you guys drink responsibly and do the right thing. Don't drink and drive. Avoid Amazon one-click buying, and I promise you, you do not need to text your ex. But all jokes aside, do the right thing, don't be dumb, and be safe. Thanks, guys. And now, let's get back to the show.
Breaking news. Josh is actually, no, I'm joking. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. So, guys, so we are back. And so today, we talked in part one of this episode about Jack Daniels and how he stole his recipe from a slave. That's not what we said.
Jasper, you bastard.
Jasper,
that
you son of a
motherfucker.
bitch. Took you 150 years to give him credit. No,
glass
all
bitch.
jokes aside. So Uncle Nearest is going to be the bottle that we are pouring. Uncle Nearest 1884 is a small batch whiskey, is 93 proof whiskey distilled, aged, and bottled entirely by Uncle Nearest. Each batch is curated by a fifth generation Nearest Green descendant and our master distiller, Victoria Edie Butler, who was named after Master Blender of the She was named Master Blender of the Year by Whiskey Magazine for 2 consecutive years, 2021 and 2022. So it's an award-winning Master Blender. She does some top-notch shit.
That's her.
Yeah, that's her. As well as receiving the same honor for the Spirits, Business, and Vine pair in 2021. So this stuff came out at least for me, came onto my radar pretty recently. So obviously, I think we talked about the biography about Jack Daniels and how he revealed Uncle Nearest's influence and everything that went on there, and how the minister or the priest that ran he was a grocer, farmer, priest, and a distiller. I don't know if we talked about it too much, but he was given an ultimatum by his wife and said, "Hey,
Aren't we all?
yeah, all the fucking time." She said, "It's either the Lord or the drink," and he said,
I
"Fine."
was winning that fight.
Chose
The
the right
Lord-
one.
No,
Good job, brother.
No, he chose the Lord and gave his distillery to Jasper, and that's why Jack Daniels exist. But
Fucking religion.
Uncle Nearest was his master distiller, or at least closely associated, and he didn't get the cred until way after. Now that future generations made Uncle Nearest as their run. They have a higher end of this, but I wanted to give you guys a little bit more of the baseline, just to kind of see where it goes, and compare it to Jack Daniels, number 7. The whiskey maker the world never knew is what people refer to Uncle Nearest, and it's cool to bring this to light, and it's kind of sad that it took this long. But I think it's really interesting to have this bottle here and try it out with you guys. I know that we weren't a big fan of the Jack Daniel's Double Heritage Rye. They used Heritage way too often for how bad it was. But I hope that we get a little bit more out of Uncle Nearest 1884. We're going to go ahead and cheers us up, and hopefully you guys enjoy. If they don't, I think it's just because you're college boys and don't care about bourbons.
Go Dogs.
Already more enjoyable than the Jack Daniels. I'm going to start
That
with
is
Josh.
better.
Josh isn't a really big bourbon guy, so this is why it's going to be a fun experiment because he doesn't like anything that isn't like a cold beer.
Coors Light.
Or what, a Blue Moon? Is that what? No, you said Blue Moon.
Blue Moon's
Moon's ass.
What the
Josh,
fuck?
if you had to compare this to the Double Heritage Rye,
Way better.
way better.
Way better. It's not as loud.
I like
If
that.
that makes sense.
I like
It's-
that.
it's
No,
not
I
as-
like
it's
that.
not as
I like
loud.
that. Uh-huh.
This is definitely concentrated. It's like the taste on your actual tongue is more focused.
Yeah.
In one spot?
With the Jack Rye, it's everywhere. It's just
Felt
it's just
overpowering
loud,
almost.
dude. It's
Felt
just
o-
loud.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not even trying to blow smoke up your ass. I love that description.
Yeah.
It's not as loud because it makes sense. What was going on with that Jack Daniels? There was a lot at once. There was a lot of flavors. I think
Yeah.
David said it earlier.
Yeah.
There's you both said it. There's a lot of flavor there. There's a lot, and you don't really get to enjoy any aspect of it. There's nothing like felt refined enough.
Right.
All right,
It's
cool.
like machine gun fire.
Ah, a shotgun.
It's like putting a firecracker in your mouth. Just boom.
All right.
Yeah.
There it is.
This is like a little pop rock.
Yeah.
Well, but do you enjoy this? I know you don't really love bourbon. This is
I
all-
mean, I'm still not a bourbon guy, but I would drink this.
All right. So, David, what do you think while I look up the price of Uncle Nearest?
Well, this is definitely a rye, so you get that spicy touch there.
Is it right?
Is it not?
Look it up. It's right in front of you. It's not a rye.
Right.
Not a rye.
Okay, well, as you can see, my expertise in the whiskey is showing. It still has that spice that I would associate with a rye.
Yep.
But I
love
do agree
this.
with Josh's concession that it's more focused. Now, it's not as nice as some of the ones that I've had in the
Wait, wait.
past.
I've spoiled you.
You really fucking have. Like, you started off with the Lamborghinis, and I'm working down to Corvettes. But that's not the way you're supposed to go.
Listen, the budget's not there right now.
I feel it. I feel it. No,
but-
it's not a bad whiskey.
It's
not
not.
something I wouldn't drink.
So, of all of their runs, this is their entry level, right? So they obviously have
This is
much.
a bottom shelf.
This is their bottom
Wow.
shelf. This is their bottom shelf, and that's why I want to enter into that because I think as we go into the show, we're going to explore a little bit more. They have their uncut, unfiltered, award-winning rye. They keep winning a fuck ton of awards. Their rye, Uncle Nearest Smoothest, has made our whiskey the most awarded in 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022. They've won multiple awards for almost everything on their run.
Can I ask you what I think is a stupid question?
Sure.
Is
It's gonna be.
It might be. But is Uncle Nearest a moniker of some sort? Or was his name actually Nearest?
His last name is Nearest.
Okay, so that's a last name. Okay.
Yeah, so we talked about it in part one of this episode. We kind of give you a little bit rundown of Uncle Nearest and where that name came from and how his influence was for Jasper. But if you had to put a price point to this bottle, Josh, we like playing this game from time to time. I didn't do it with the other one because you already had insider knowledge.
You said this is the lowest of their tiers, right?
This is their entry level. Not lowest, their entry level. This is what you start with if you want a real idea of what they do.
90.
Ooh. Is that based on
really
like you?
high.
Are you just shocking and you think that
Shot in the
flavor?
dark. Shot in the dark.
But if you had to
$90.
judge it on the flavor,
What do you mean?
if you had to judge it on what you just tasted,
You asked me how much it cost.
yeah, and what you tasted, what would you pay for it for a bottle, or what you think it should be worth?
I'm sticking with 90.
All right, David,
Put this in that $49.99 range.
did you look at my laptop?
I did.
You bastard.
It's $41.99.
Yeah, boy.
But-
you will overpay. You're a sucker.
No, he's not going to
Not
be
a
a sucker.
bourbon guy, motherfucker.
Hey, this is what we're here for. For all intents and purposes, I am a novice in this, and I enjoy the fact that we're bringing people into it with me. I have to learn to speak with more than one breath. Like, it's not a competition. Listen, so Uncle Nearest, as I said, is one of these newer to at least me, right? So we know a lot of these bottles. We know Buffalo Trace. You hear them all the time. You hear Blanton's.
That's
You
super
hear
common.
you hear Blanton's. You hear you hear Jack Daniels. You hear Jim Beam. You hear Bakers and Bookers. You hear all these names. Uncle Nearest is one of the ones that I honestly not on purpose, but it was, this sucks. During Black History Month was advertised from Publix, Total Wine, ABC, and he brought that up, and I said, yeah, I'm doing it. because it's fucking, yeah, I can find an African American distiller. I'm fucking doing it. Let's fucking go. And sure as shit, it ended up being way better than I expected it to be, especially for that price point compared to everything else. What I really enjoyed was the storyline,
Yeah.
because Jasper ain't shit.
Fucking Jasper.
Fucking,
Well, no, that's a name, bro.
I'm gonna name my least favorite animal Jasper one day.
Is there any fucking famous people named Jasper? Jasper Reynolds? Why does that name ring a bell?
Who is Jasper?
Why is
Reynolds?
that the most
Are you making up names?
Lame name possible.
Is Jasper the worst name
Look
you
up,
can think of?
Google like famous people with the name Jasper.
Well, I have questions to look up to give you. So,
Do you not have
Open a new
tabs?
tab,
You don't
my
have
guy.
tabs?
all right,
Fucking
so,
He just
Apple?
showed you the window snap thing. Come on.
all right, so here we are. Next question. Guys, I sent you this one. This is actually interesting because you brought it up earlier about compartmentalizing. Transferable skill set. What did life in retail make you better at? I'm going to give you an example. My radio
Around the
voice.
table and just
Yeah.
Radio
rapid
voice?
fires.
I'm going to give you a quick example is that I could turn on the job interview voice and, ma'am, I'm here to help you voice really quickly.
You have a very punchable job
Where,
interview voice.
yeah. But here's the thing that voice de-escalates a lot of situations and makes my overall appearance of a giant Hispanic dude seem a lot less intimidating and a lot more calming, as opposed to me going, "Hey, Florida, Georgia Bulldogs all day."
Is that what you think I sound like?
Mouth.
Go Dogs.
You shut your mouth.
And that's my
I don't
point.
sound like that.
Not to you. Listen, Josh,
Are your headphones working?
I don't know if you can. You could have told me there was a sound issue earlier.
I'm so sorry. I guess I'm unplugged. I just dropped my cap to my
We
water
could have
bottle.
worked on this, bro. All right, Josh. While he figures out what his life has been like for fucking ever,
Ruined.
Yeah.
what did you take away? I'm not asking for your resume. What did you realize at some point? Shit, I'm really good at this, and it's because of retail.
This may sound dumb, but dealing with bullshit, my tolerance for bullshit,
real world
my,
skill,
my
bro.
tolerance for bullshit is
Specify. What do you mean bullshit? Like
just
bullshit?
like we talked about all these stupid customer stories and the craziness and that customer wars stuff. Like it doesn't phase us anymore. Like that, the ability to just be in those moments and deal with that shit and not lose my shit, right? So you talked about having the customer service voice and kind of being able to de-escalate stuff. Like our tolerance for dealing with those kind of situations, and it's just complete fuckery. And we're just like, okay, I'm not going to lose my shit. I'm going to continue to maintain composure and be professional.
Yeah.
I think that's a big one that can transcend whatever I may go to next.
Like, I'm gonna level up that question.
Yeah.
Do you think when obviously your father worked retail?
Yeah.
But do you think when anyone in your family comes up with a problem, are you able to also now deal with bullshit where you can kind of sift through the madness or saying out loud?
Yeah.
And that's a retail like life experience.
100%.
Tell me about a time that you might have like used your basically fucking leadership training to fucking go through that.
I'll use my sister again. Like she's gone through a lot of job changes and stuff like that. Wow. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ.
I don't know what he said, and I'll listen to it in a tape.
Yeah, listen to it when you roll it back, dude. But like she'll go through like what she thinks is crazy shit at her job or whatever, life and things, and she calls me and she's like, "Let me tell you what just happened." Blah, 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 and she's off the rails. And I'm like,
You're like waiting for the crescendo?
"Yeah." I'm like,
It's like,
"All right, well
okay.
let's break it down. Let's just." And she's like, "Why are you not freaking out?" I'm like, not my
can't.
nature. It's like I'm supposed to be calm, cool, and collected during this shit. I don't get worked up.
I'm literally engineered to break these down and fix the
Yeah.
problem, not to overreact.
Yeah, it's like a
with you.
puzzle. I just got to put it back together.
Yeah.
That's all.
And that seems wild to them and crazy, right?
Right. It drives her crazy.
It drives all my friends.
Why are
crazy.
you not getting fucking worked up? Blah, 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 blah.
Dude, I go through that with my wife.
Yeah, yeah.
So she's still.
You go
she's
through
still
that with me
no.
when I
go
don't
through-
get angry about shit and
No,
upset
so
about
I
shit.
go through the opposite side. I'm you with her.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So she'll come. So you gotta understand, like as a husband, you're kind of that safe space, right? Like
Yeah,
come
you can
home and
you
you're
can
the
wall
safe
out
space.
with you. She can
Yeah.
wall
So
out.
she comes home and she's telling me about this fucking bullshit, and I'm kind of waiting for the shit to spin out of control. Like, okay, where's the actual bullshit so I can hear the juice? And it's like, oh, you just had a bad day.
Give me the tea.
Yeah, no, it's just kind of standard. Fucking, oh, you had a shit day and somebody acted a little bit out of pocket, but you're absolutely equipped to handle every single thing that happened to you today. That's kind of whole thing. It's just, yeah, you know what to do though. So what are you worried about? But no, she just wants to come home and be upset about it. And I understand it. You know, come
Yeah.
home having a shit day and wanting to vent about it. But
Yeah.
Like I
it's
love.
it's weird because I'm trained to, as all of us are, trained to kind of handle that shit in the moment, get
Right.
it done.
Yeah, and I think it's a skill set that we it sucks. It sucks because there's the opposite side, right? That loved one or person is coming to you because they want to vent.
Yeah.
And we are now designed
To fix it.
To fix it.
Like, what do you want? Do you want support? Do you want me to fix it? Do you want me to just be a cheerleader?
I am
What do you want?
Worth asking.
I
What do you? What do you?
worth asking.
Before we get into this,
That's not.
what version of me do you
Be
want?
a sounding board?
I have 100% had the conversation with my fiance. I was like, before you get deep into this, are you looking for suggestions?
Yeah.
Or are you looking to just fucking me tell you that bitch is crazy? Because I'll tell you that bitch is crazy all day. That's easier for me to tell you that bitch is crazy.
Saves me time.
Like, saves me time. But if you tell me, nah, like, what do you suggest? I'm going to tell you what I suggest how to deal with that manager. But I can tell you that bitch is crazy the whole time if that makes it better. We'll fix that.
Fucking Ralph Macchio over there.
But I think that that's funny because other people will see us as almost like autonomous, like robots.
Yeah.
And it's not that at all. It's just we have now been through so much randomness that we know at the other end. We already skipped ahead to the end of the story. It's like reading a book in the fucking same character plot points and all that stuff's happening. It's like, all right, let's get to the end so I can tell you how the ending should be.
Right.
Like, let's just get there.
Let me tell you why you're wrong.
Yeah. Let me tell you how you were the one who the problem was.
Yep.
I had a loved one tell me about her bad experience with a manager, and I'm like, you were the asshole. Like, all of that was you.
Newsflash.
You were the piece of shit. That whole story, that manager handled everything perfectly. You
I
ain't
feel
shit.
like a lot of times people are really quick to vilify their manager, and like 8 times out of 10, the manager is delivering a bullshit message that he didn't want to have to deliver
Yeah.
to you. That
Yeah.
he's just like, hey, this is just as bullshit to me as it is to you, but I have to give this to you, and you take it out on them.
And I think I've always put myself. I've always been that other guys. Like, all right, let me try to figure out why they're doing this, and then I'm gonna tell you. Like, cool, we're gonna try it out. I have my thoughts, and then when it hits the fan or it succeeds, we'll address it. If it hits the fan, shit, we were right. This is trash. I could say I'd give it a fair shot. It sucked, but it was like, all right, cool, it failed. Ha ha! I told you so, bitch. And I'm gonna do shit my way anyway.
Yeah.
But I think that's just interesting. Dave, I don't want to go off too much of a tangent. I know you've been anxiously waiting. What skills or what thing did you learn from retail and go, shit, I learned that from the traumatic experience I've had
From
with my
the
job.
trenches,
Bro,
baby.
composure.
Yeah.
So I've recently moved into the banking space. I'm sure people that know me know I've been there for a little bit now, and I've just seen too many occasions where I'll be in the bank and you'll have 2, 3 customers in line, and the teller or the manager on duty is just frenzied out of their mind, or just getting snippy, or cutting corners, or just losing their professionalism. And I'm just like, this is fucking child's play. This is literally nothing. What can I do to support you? How can I help? Is it better if I just get out of your way and let you do your job? What do you need from me? But being able to maintain your composure in situations that would stress others out, I feel like it's a really, really, really useful tactic in a multitude of fields, and I see it a lot.
Even in a personal standpoint, I'm sure
Yeah.
that comes up a lot where like people around you might be freaking out. You're married into a Hispanic family, so nothing there is calm.
Oh my god!
Nothing there is
Off
calm.
stream, I got tea.
And you know what?
Ooh.
You know what I think taught us that the best? That particular skill set?
What's that?
Dealing with the toilet paper in 2020.
Hey,
Oh my God.
bro! I got married in 2020, just before COVID began, right? And this was right before I became an actual general manager, and I was an assistant then.
Yep.
And I worked with, you guys know who I worked for before I became a manager. And so I go back to his store, and I have no fucking clue what's happening because I've been on my honeymoon. So I come back from my honeymoon to the goddamn apocalypse.
The toilet paper apocalypse.
Yeah, and I'm like, bro, what the fuck happened to our paper aisle? He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Do you know? No, John. I've been having sex with my new wife. It's been excellent. What do you think I've been doing?
I want you to know that there was a lot more context we didn't need there.
yeah, yeah.
but we
We
understand.
could have filled in the blanks
What
ourselves.
do you fucking
dude.
think I'm doing on my honeymoon, man? I went to Disney World
Parcheesi?
and busted nuts. That's all I needed. I'm good.
I don't even know
How old's
what
your son now?
Excellent time frame, by the way.
Focus. So what? Go on.
So I get back, and it's just like, it was just like coming back from the zombie apocalypse. He's like, you don't know what the fuck you've missed these past 2 weeks. I was like, apparently not. Because we were just we get like COVID updates. We didn't think it was that big of a deal. And then we came back and we saw the real impacts. And that was when it really settled in. Oh, this shit's for real.
Yeah.
We thought it was just CNN doing CNN. You know what I mean? It's like overblowing shit.
That was very, very real.
Just for too long.
Bro, that composure shit, it just reminded me of something. During the pandemic.
Or either that, or you could play the clip from fucking Jingle All the Way when he's trying to get in the store to buy the Turbo Man.
Turbo Man?
Turbo Man.
Bro.
Where's Turbo Man?
But
They're all just fighting each other.
anyone listening to this who did not work retail during the pandemic, you're welcome. Because
That shit did
Fuck
suck.
you.
It changed us, dude.
That did suck.
it made us it was Mad Max.
Well,
Yeah.
there was
We
a
were
weird
road
moment
warriors.
where we were frontline workers.
We were front,
And
but
we were royalty.
We
for
were
about
the
3
shit.
weeks.
Yeah.
We thank you. And then a moment later, fuck you for not giving me 88 fucking packs of toilet paper.
The fuck you mean that a ring up on sale, bitch? Oh, we're back to this.
That, to be fair, depending on where you were, that lasted a little longer than it needed.
You want me to wear a
be.
fucking mask? Fuck you. Make America great again.
Oh my! Wow, we are. Hey! Not that kind of show right now.
Oh.
We could do that later. But no, I think that maintaining composure in a fucking strenuous circumstances, it translates even to look, I have a crazy Hispanic household. I don't know what your households look like. I have a crazy Hispanic household where I realized, because I've been with the company and been in that scope for 23 years, that there are moments where my family will be having a full-fledged passionate conversation, and people will ask me, are you disinterested, are you okay? Yeah, I'm just waiting for you to get to the point.
Right.
I'm waiting for
Where's
this.
the good part?
Yeah,
you
I'm
know?
waiting for you to tell me what problem I'm trying to solve. All this shit in the middle, useless. I don't care about
Yeah,
it.
just minutia. I don't need it.
Yeah, and it made me seem like an asshole. Where often I had to explain to my family,
Dude, that's so fucking accurate.
Because you're trained to wait for
so
the
accurate.
hook.
yeah, it made
right?
me sound like an asshole. Because all I'm as a manager, I'm just trying to solve the problem.
Right.
100%.
All the filler and shit, all the story arc shit, I don't care.
Yeah.
You said you need to get from A to Z. I need to know what that path, what you needed. What was A, what was Z? Cool. I will fill it, help you get the rest.
100%.
And it sucks because there are moments, and there's a negative to it, right? So my fiance will come home. I had a bad day. I had this and this and this, and I have to remember she has worked in the same space. She knows how to solve these problems. She's not asking me for
That's
that.
so tough.
She's not asking me how to solve
Yeah.
that. She's venting, and I am here trying to problem solve.
Yeah.
I think you did you mentioned this earlier, but that's absolutely the way to ask it or to handle it.
Yeah.
Ask,
Are you-
what is it you need from me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
Are-
need us to
am
help
I-
you solve this, or is this you want to get it off your chest?
You
and
want me to
just
tell
want
you
listen?
that Margaret
Just
was
blowing
a
off some
bitch?
steam. Yeah.
Fuck Margaret. We all hate Margaret.
We're
now.
team fuck Margaret.
Fuck Margaret.
Fuck that bitch.
Fuck
I don't know what
her
she did. Fuck
and,
her with a
and,
rhino.
and team fuck Jasper.
Fuck
Yeah,
her
fuck
with a rhino's dick.
Fuck Margaret and Jasper and everyone else who shorted Uncle
Speaking
Nearest.
of Jasper,
Speaking of Jasper. But my point is, I think that was one of the transferable skills that I brought over to my real life that had a negative and positive impact, right? So you to your friends who don't work that space. I have friends who work in service industry.
Yeah.
And they're used to being in the weeds. I have people who work in a restaurant. Shouts to Mikey. Shouts to Steph. Shouts to other motherfuckers that are out there.
yeah,
Fucking
love Mikey.
love Mikey. I love Bella Flair. I love
Steph's
all
cool too.
Yeah,
Let me
she-
not throw shade at her.
Yeah, I was
Love
about to say,
Steph, too.
we have to acknowledge her. Formula at some
Hi,
point
Steph.
was worked in that industry,
Hi,
but
Richie.
they all tell me about this is bananas. This is crazy, and you see how level-headed they are, and chill they are, and happy they are.
Dude, service employees, those guys
Go
are the
through it.
fucking super saiyans, right? Retail employees have it shit.
Yeah, but
Service-
service
you
employees,
must fuck with
Service, service
motherfuckers'
is number
foods?
one. Retail's two.
yeah, and retail's but hospital motherfuckers. Soon there's gonna be a show, nurses, Bourbon and nurses,
Because you're
And
dealing with boomers who are dying.
Wait. Bourbon and nurses is not just the boomers, bro. There's a lot of motherfuckers. Bourbon and nurses, the stories they tell me,
Yeah.
it is so wild. And the common fucking, I will call them the customer, the patient, whatever the fuck. Those motherfuckers on the other side of the booth, the other side of the table, have no fucking clue what goes on and how often. They might think, I understand, you want your individual attention. I have 17 people ahead of you that thought the same shit. I have 48 people after you that think the same shit, and you have no idea how little what you're saying is going to influence me.
Right.
If you do this the right way, we could both have a fucking fantastic interaction. And if anything, I want anyone to take away from this segment before we go to a little quick break is if you treat that person at the other end of that table like a decent human being,
Yep.
your life will be 1,000 times better.
And that's a rule not for just the service industry.
Yeah, that's
Anything.
just a life
That's
rule.
just a
life,
mean
but
rule.
life. But if I have to say, this is your baseline.
Yep.
Just be cool to the person that's helping you, which
No,
seems
let me help you out
simple
better.
enough.
Just be cool.
Just be
Stop.
cool. But I'm
Just
saying,
be cool.
But that seems above brand for people,
Right.
If you
Very much.
but if you are looking for the person that you are hoping to get something from,
Yep.
be cool to that person, and I promise you, all of us will appreciate you. There
1000%.
are motherfuckers that will straight up just be like, I'm pressing play discount button because this bitch is cool as shit, man. Like that interaction.
We're all managers. We could have all gotten in trouble for that shit. We've done that shit hundreds of times
They're-
for just cool motherfuckers.
You ain't lying.
Yeah, there,
just cool
there,
dudes.
there are times that person's like, hey, I understand you're super busy. I'm gonna go get coffee. You take your fucking time. I was like, when that lady comes back,
You just
don't-
earn your ass an employee discount,
You don't fucking
motherfucker.
you don't fucking charge her for half those pictures.
Yep.
When she comes back, why? Because we inconvenienced her? No, because she was nice as fuck.
Yep.
You figure that the
Dude,
fuck
that
out.
photo lab, if you're cool in a photo lab in any of your retail pharmacy stores, you're going to walk out with so much free shit.
Dirty little secret.
Just be
You
cool.
can say, hey, I didn't really like how dark that was. Can we work on that again? I'm still giving you the first picture.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can do what the fuck you want with it.
What am I going to do? Throw it
I
out?
can retake your
Big
passport
fucking deal.
74 times.
Yeah. It still cost me
Still going to be the same thing.
12 cents. So-
Fucking
right.
7 cents.
So we're going to take a quick break and we're going to feature the Sugar Mama because she pays the bills here and she keeps the lights on because half you motherfuckers haven't signed up. So Aurora Fable is going to say hi. And of course, she's going to have the whole seductive voice thing going on, which is weird. We'll be back, guys.
Sponsor of Bourbon and Bullshit, Big Bang Boom Collective is Orlando's burlesque and cabaret entertainment group, comprised of Midnight Fables Cabaret, Big Bang Boom Cabaret, and Foxy's Den. Follow us on Instagram at Big Bang Boom Collective, or join our VIP email list for info on upcoming shows by visiting www.bigbangboomcollective.com.
Guys, so surprise, surprise, surprise. This episode actually went on pretty long, enough for me to give you guys part 1 and part 2. So unfortunately, we are going to call this part 1 and end it here. But you do not fret. We're in for a lot more fun when we come back next week with the rest of Life After Retail with Joshua Mantooth and the guest formerly known as Gata. So guys, I hope you guys enjoyed and sorry to just disappoint. But at least you know next week more is coming. In the meantime, stay tuned for any bonus features that will be dropping. Actually, we should drop one on Thursday. And we're going to be dropping now our Whiskey Minutes every Wednesday. It'll be a 60 seconds, probably 90 seconds of just informative, fun video content that you can watch on our Instagram at bourbon_and_BS. Like I said, we're going to try to give you guys more content and more features and a lot more fun. So stay tuned for a couple more of our shows, some bonus content coming out, and the drink recipes and bottles will be in the show notes. Thanks for everyone who's given us the feedback and the advice of giving you guys more of what you want, because that's what we're here for. Our bullshitters deserve the absolute best. And as always, thank you for tuning in and see you next week, guys. Today's episode was brought to you by Homes with Richard. If you're in the market for a new home or looking to sell your home or change something up a little bit in the neighborhood or maybe the size of your home, contact 407-341-3070. That's Home for Richard at 407-341-3070 and let them know that Bourbon and Bullshit sent you. Thanks, guys. Stay tuned for next week for more fun. Take care.